Welcome to my workshop. I'm Tina, and this week's a little different. I did not do my vlog this last weekend, and I'm not sure I will have one this weekend because we have Lambtown coming up. So this next weekend I will be at Lambtown. So if you go to Lambtown, we will be in Maiden Hall, and we will be the only woodworking booth. So make sure stop on by and see us. So Lambtown is, if you do not know, is a fiber festival, and it's held in Dixon, California, October 5th and 6th of this year, 2024. And it's always that first weekend. But anyway, so my husband and I just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary on the 25th of September, and we decided to go on a little spontaneous trip. And because I have an absolutely amazing husband, I got him to stop at all kinds of yarn stores while we were gone. So this video is going to be a little what's the word I'm looking for? Compilation of these different yarn stores. And it's kind of funny because I didn't do it on purpose, but I almost hit all of the Sierra Nevada yarn crawl stores, and the yarn crawl was the weekend before. I had not planned on doing that, so I actually missed the first store that was in Auburn because I hadn't decided until our first night. We stayed in Grass Valley, and we went to a yarn store right there. We were actually staying about a block away from it, and I was like, oh, we're out, I want to go to the yarn store. And if I had thought about this by the end, or at the beginning, what I was thinking of at the end, I would have made sure to have stopped in Auburn at that first one. And the only other one I missed was actually in Heavenly in Lake Tahoe, and we actually stayed in Heavenly, but the store wasn't open because they're only open one day a week, and the other days it's by appointment, and weekends they're closed, and we were there on a weekend, so I couldn't even do an appointment. So missed that store, missed the Auburn store, but hit all the rest that were the Sierra Nevada yarn crawl stores. So what I'm going to do with this video, I recorded at each store, and I'm going to go through and play the video, give you a little information about what I saw and what we did while we're there. And then at the end of that one, I will show you what I got while I was at that store. And then we will move on to the next store and go all the way through like that. So you'll get to see a little bit of what we did, and I hope you really enjoy this. So make sure, hit like, subscribe, notify, all those good YouTube-y things. So very first store, we were in Grass Valley. We stayed in Grass Valley our first night. We had a really nice little Airbnb we stayed at, and it was called, what was it called? Sorry, that was the dog. She just knocked stuff down and scared herself. Are you okay? Come here. Come here. Come here and say hello. Are you okay? Did you get scared? Yeah? Okay. They missed me a lot while I was gone too. My son took very good care of them. Okay, Golden Parlor, that's what it was called. It was called the Golden Parlor. It was a little 3-bedroom house right off of the main street, and it was a lovely place to stay. So if you go to Grass Valley, look that one up. They had a hot tub and everything. So that first store we went to was Heathered Yarn Co. Absolutely wonderful store, very nice people, and walking around through Main Street in their little areas there, and they were getting decorated for Halloween, and it was really nice. I didn't notice until we were coming out the super cute window display they had, and I tried to take a picture from the outside, which I will include in this, but they had a spinning wheel set up, and they had a skeleton, and they dressed the skeleton, and the skeleton was spinning on the spinning wheel, and it was really cute. So I am going to play the video now, and I will talk to you through the video. So here's that front window coming in, and there's just a lot of glare on it, but it was set up so cute. They had lots of stuff, and they've got a little bit of a gift shop type thing in here too. So it appeals to anybody coming by. Mugs, they're delicate. So here's the inside of the store, and it's just really a really cute store. They have a whole set of different kinds of bags, including all kinds of delicate stuff, and notebooks and shirts and hair clips and some really cute little kits. I'm sorry if I'm going through a little too fast, but different jewelry and bags. And like I said, it's got a bit of a gift shop vibe and knit store vibe, so it's really great and appeals to anybody. These really cute little pins. There's more delicate. I mean, they've got like all the delicate stuff. Here's some other art supplies, so not just the knitting and crocheting and spinning, because they do have a bunch of fiber too. Stickers, of course, we've all got to have the stickers, and look at that cute little sheep spinning. And she was actually getting ready for Lambtown, so she was in the back getting ready. This is her yarn that they dye, and I love this colorway. It's called Steve's Gold, and it was just a beautiful colorway. But they do all the dyeing of these yarns, so this is their yarn. So if you're at Lambtown, I'm sure she will have that with her. She's actually going to be in the same hall I am. She'll be in Madden Hall. I think she said she's against the back wall, so you have to make sure and find her. All these cute stitch markers. And look at these beautiful bowls. They're a ceramic bowl, and they're stunning. They're very beautiful bowls. Lots of yarn, of course, and some sample projects. And sometimes I'm looking so much that I don't realize if my camera is not looking at the exact same thing I'm looking at. So I do apologize. Sometimes I might go slightly out of shot. You can see my husband, he found a seat back there. Every yarn store, he found a place he could go sit, but he indulged me. This one was really interesting. Wool Addicts. The feel of it almost had like a linen feel to me. We've got patterns and embroidery floss. This was a pretty colorway. That's the one they had for the yarn crawl. Very pretty. And I didn't look too much back here because she was trying to get things put together. Here's some more of their colors in different bases. Bulky and the stellina and stuff. This is some more that's done by her. Very fun, floofy, soft. Of course, your, oh shoot, I just lost the name of it. Y'all know what kind of yarn that was. You can tell by the tags. This is the stellina based yarn. I love the sparkle. It was really pretty. I almost got one of those. And some Freebrook Farm. Very pretty colors. And all kinds of little stitch markers and needle stoppers and other little tools that you could need. She had some very cute bags that I think were all some more cute little kits. Some nice wood tools. Such colorful yarn, so pretty. It's the earth yarns. I do really like the earth yarns. They have some great colors, and I love the feel of their yarns. And they had these wonderful teas. These tins of teas were just all the flavors, and then you've got your mugs to go with it. So I mean, get some tea and get a mug and you're good to go. Really cute mugs, lots of fun sayings. Such a cute shop. Really like that shop. I wish it was closer to me because I would go to it more. Really fun. Super nice people. Even the people that were coming in to shop while I was there, they were all just really, really nice people. I mean, as Yarny folks, we have to be nice, right? I apologize if you hear the sound in the background. Like I said, I'm trying to get ready for Lambtown, so my laser cutter is going in the background. But I need to have it running right now. I need to get stuff done. So my haul from that store, I went a little crazy in that first shop. I did buy some of the tea, and I got Earl Grey Blue Flower Black Tea, which is a light, mild take on Earl Grey. This blend combines the traditional bergamot flavored black tea with the addition of blue cornflower petals, offering a unique taste and lovely appearance. And I wish there was smell-o-vision. It smells so good and tastes good too. And what I love on these tins, there's nothing quite like a good cup of tea. It can wake you up, calm you down, or energize you to do more, like complete that last row or take on the most daunting frog. I had to get it. It was like knitting tea. So anyway, I picked that up. I love Earl Grey. I love all kinds of teas, but Earl Grey is like my go-to one here lately. I also picked up this cute little hair clip. Isn't that cute? I picked up a pair of knitting needles that I'm actually currently using. So got myself some Chow Goos. I wanted to switch what I was using in that project from bamboo to metal, and it's making it so much easier. I also picked up, let's see, I'm trying not to rattle this too much. That cute little sticker. I had to have the sheep spinning. And I got this super cute pair of scissors. I also bought a new Delicue bag. I couldn't help myself. And this was the color I had been trying to decide when I got the satchel. But I absolutely love this bag. I used it during my whole trip. And, you know, of course, you've got your little stitch markers that you get with the Delicue and all the fun things that come with having a bag that is specifically for your yarny needs, like your little yarn cutter, the little area where your yarn can actually go through. It's got like all kinds of little pockets. So I had a project in here the whole time, and so this back part I had Musselburgh hat I'm working on, and this fit perfectly right in here. So that was in this back pouch the whole time. I could walk with it if I wanted to because this was on my front, or I could, you know, when I went to restaurants, whatever. Then in this front pouch, which of course has all kinds of pockets too, all my purse stuff fit into there perfectly and still has room. Then this front one here was perfect for my headphones, are right down in the bottom of it. And then I put my phone here, and it was all right there where I needed it. So, and then there's also another pouch here. So I could carry it crossbody this way. I could also do that on the back. It also has a handle here. And of course their bags are made amazingly. So they're a little pricey, but they're made really well, and there's a lot of thought that goes into them. And then each one comes with your little piece that goes here for your stitch markers, and it comes with these stitch markers, these Delaque stitch markers. And then it comes with a yarn needle and a little tiny booklet you can draw out little patterns on. And it's a really nice bag. So I'm super happy that I got that. And then last but not least, I had to get a skein of yarn. So I got this one that is Steve's Gold. And it is a bulky yarn, 100% superwash merino. And they had a hat that had been done up in this yarn because I was trying to decide which base I was going to get. And there was a hat sitting there, little beanie that had been done up in this yarn, and it was so cute in this color, and I was like, yep, that's what I'm doing. So I got this yarn. I'm gonna make a little beanie with it, and it's so soft, but I love the colors. So that was my little score that I got from Heathered Yarn Company, Grass Valley, California. And then we left from there. We drove through Nevada City. We didn't really stop, but we drove through, and it was funny because I was heading for Nevada City and we stopped in Grass Valley, and I had more fun in Grass Valley than I did in Nevada City. But then we went up through Donner and we stopped at the museum up there, and that was a lot of fun. And I am going to stick in some pictures here from there. We went into the museum, went through it, and there was a lot of information I learned that I didn't really know before, but it was kind of neat because they had these baskets that had been made by natives and traded, and I thought they were really pretty baskets. And I was thinking of the pine needle basket I had recently done, but these were done a little differently. And as we circled around, then there was some other things that had been made, like the I think it was snowshoes and stuff like that, that were all these handmade items by native people. And then I get around a little further and they're talking about the Donner party, and there was a spinning wheel and a yarn swift, and it was really informative and interesting. And so then of course I went through the gift shop, spent way more than I needed to. They gave you a free bag if you spent over a certain amount of money, and I spent well over a certain amount of money, so I ended up with the free bag. But while we were in there, well, for starters, I had tea. I needed a mug for my tea. So I got myself a mug to go with my collection I've been slowly growing of the splatter mugs from different locations. And so it's Donner Memorial State Park, Truckee, California. And yes, I do have some of that tea going in here right now. So my Earl Grey is in there. And they had some kits, and I'll pop that picture in here too, of different things like pine needle baskets, and also the baskets like they had there. So I bought one of the coiled basket kits, and this is supposed to be something that kids can do. I think there was ages 8 plus. So if you're 8 years old, you're supposed to be able to do this. So hopefully that means I can do it. So I got this one. I thought it would be neat to get because of the fact that it was the ones that they had in there. So that was one of the things that I had gotten there. And then we went into Truckee. So this was up in, even though it's considered Truckee, California, it was up Donner Pass area. So then we went down a little further. We went into Truckee and drove through Truckee. I hadn't searched for anything because, like I said, I had not planned to go to all these yarn stores. We just drove through and were like, okay, let's see if we see anything we want to get out and look at or just drive. And we go through town, we come back through town, we pull over because I was looking at the big train that they use for plowing the snow and stuff. And we're sitting there and I told my husband, okay, we can go. And he says, give me just 1 second. He was looking up something. I was like, okay. So I sit on my phone and I Google and I see, oh, there's a yarn store about a block away from us. Somehow I didn't see it as we drove by. And he's like, okay, we can go now. I said, yeah, and you took too long. So now you get to turn around, drive back into town because I'm going to the yarn store. So we turned around, went back, he parked, and I went in, and there is an Atelier Yarns there in Truckee. The front of the store is all a gift shop. And then the back, you go into the back room, and that's where the yarn store is, and they also have different art supplies and stuff like that. So here's your video for Atelier Yarns in Truckee, California. So this was, like I said, in the very back, and it wasn't a huge yarn store like we're used to with spaces to sit and everything else, but it was still very nice. They had lots of stuff. They also had lots of other art supplies. So I forgot I took such a short clip of video while I was there, but it was a very small space. They didn't have spaces where, you know, you're going to sit and have a knit night or anything like that, unless they had it behind the scenes where I couldn't see. But they still, I mean, if you lived in that area, you got a yarn store. So there you go. There was, trying to remember, I had asked her about a local yarn, and I forget which one she had said that they actually had there, but I ended up getting this one. It is the Fiber Company, established in 2003, Arcadia Untamed Wilderness, a rustic blend of silk, noil, baby alpaca, and merino wool. And it's soft and squishy and smells good, but it is not superwash. Look at the colors. You guys know I love the green, so I went for the green. Some more that I can put into that shawl, which I need to get working on. But what I loved was when I first picked it up, I looked and I saw, I'm trying to see if I can find one to show you. There's one if you can see it. Let's see if you'll be able to see right here. Do you see that little tiny bit of VM that's sticking out right there? I actually got excited to see little bits of VM in it, because then I knew it was not superwash and it still had some of that rawness to it, you know, and these colors look great together, and they were, like I said, they were squishy and they smell good. And so yeah, this was probably one of my favorites that I did get, because It is so squishy and fun. But anyway, so that's what I picked up while I was up in Truckee at Atelier Yarns. So that night we came down the hill into Reno, and Street Vibrations was going on this weekend. And if you don't know what Street Vibrations is, it is a great big like motorcycle rally, and they have all kinds of events they do, and they go off on rides here and there. And no joke, Street Vibrations, great name because the streets vibrated from so many motorcycles. The news had said they expected 5,000 motorcycles to come in town that weren't from town. They expected 35,000 people to attend it. And everywhere you went, all around, not just in Reno, there were motorcycles everywhere. Through our whole trip, we were just passing masses of motorcycles, and every time they came by, it was just like this vibration as they came through. So anyway, we ended up staying at the Silver Legacy that second night in Reno, and had a very nice room up on the 32nd floor looking out over the whole area. And in the morning I got to watch the sunrise. I got up and it was just starting to get light, and I looked to see what time sunrise was, and I stayed awake so that I could watch the sunrise and take a picture of the sun rising up over the hills, and it was very pretty. And then I was like, okay, we're in Reno. I'm going to Jimmy Bean Wool. So we drove over to Jimmy Bean Wool and had a lovely time. And so that is your next video. So coming into Jimmy Bean Wool, my husband was ahead of me, and he found a little lending library, except that it is for yarn. You can take some yarn and leave some yarn. And inside, their little lockers and their yarn, and they've got room upon room of yarn. And if you want to know more about Jimmy Bean Wool and what they're about, Nitty Natty did a great video where she interviewed them and everything. But they only keep one skein of yarn out for you to actually see, and you take the skein and you go to them, and then they will go back into their warehouse and pull the yarn, or however much you need, they will go get it for you. I love this picture. It was so pretty when you get up close. All the flowers are crocheted. But it's very interesting. Now this room seemed like they, and I didn't ask her about it, but it had other multiple skeins, but every other room only had the single skeins. So you'll notice that there's only one color of everything out here. And each room kind of has like a, if I remember correctly, it's a different theme, or a different yarn weight, or things like that. And the displays, they display everything beautifully, so you can really see all of it. These were cute little felted cases. And then they have signs up that give you the prices. So there's not a price on each piece. You see the price on the sign. Here's some little kits. Super cute little kits. I love the little dog. Now this was, I believe I was now in another room as I cycled through. This definitely would have to be the biggest yarn store I've ever been in. Actually, this was out in the main part before I walked into the next room. And here's some more kits. So let's see, this was going into the next room. Road to China. That was a yarn I had not seen before. And so in this one, they're all hanging The skeins are all hanging on it, and they have a little ring that they hang on, so you just unhook the ring. And these were some samples that were done with the, I believe, this type of yarn right here, where you have the pop of color. So as you hit that certain pop of color, you change your stitch. And I've always wanted to do one of those. These were super cute. Each one was a measuring tape, and then it had a design on it, and it was a bracelet. So you would always have your measuring tape with you. My son actually got one at a different yarn store that was thinner and wrapped around your wrist twice. Then back in this room is all your knitting needles and tools like that. And they even have little projects so that you can try certain needles. So back here on this shelf, there's a little project that says like, try me. And these are those little like recycled bags. And I do not have the one to show you, but I did get one of those little tiny ones for my sister-in-law. I said, it was an itty bitty one with a blue elephant, said, I'm rich. This room has a table in it, so I'm thinking this is probably where they would do their knit nights and classes and things like that. But it had a very office-like look, like you were going into to have a board meeting. Super cute little baskets up here. And this was all cotton yarns. And they've got a little coffee bar there. It is Jimmy Bean after all. Some stitch markers. Everything in the store is just displayed really nicely, really easy to see. And pins. And of course, Delaque, which is where I first heard about Delaque, was, I don't remember if it was Nitty Natty's video or one of my Jimmy Bean emails, but one or the other, or both. And I had been wanting one, and now I have two. So I didn't actually get any while I was there. This is back out in the main room when you first walk in. And I love how they utilize the old lockers and the old little drawers and things like that. Storyteller, you will actually see a little bit more about Storyteller in the next video. Beautiful colors. Look at the little bird on the branch. Now this is going to the other side of the building. And a few fun things. This whole section is all one color, and there's multiple skeins of it, and I'm sure there's something about it, but I did not find out what it was. I forgot to ask, to be honest. This was another yarn I had not seen before. Oh, this was Knit One, Plant One. And I believe they plant trees to do with their different skeins. And of course I found a Christmas colorway. I was like, oh, it's Christmassy, and then I looked at the color and it's Christmas. And Earth Yarns. Like I said, I do really, I'm liking Earth Yarns. I like their stuff. Some more samples. And some more bags and needle pouches, and it's got to have a slot machine. You're in Reno, right? And I have a claw grabber that they have completely yarn bombed, and inside there are balls with yarn in them. You can play for 50 cents and try and win. Now after I do each one of these videos, then I turn it off and I go back through the store, shopping and browsing to decide what I actually want myself. And as I did that, I found these cute little dryer balls I had not seen before. And then I asked my husband, because he loves these claw machines, I said, try and win me something. He said, this is going to be really hard because of these smooth balls. He's like, I'll try though. So he tried twice. He's like, I'll give it a shot. He said it would be a lot easier though if they didn't have the balls on it. So I'm sure they did that on purpose. But he tried twice for me, and he's actually really good at these machines. He's won me lots of things out of these machines before, but after the second time he said, yeah, that's not going to happen. Okay, so at Jimmy Bean Wool, I did get a little sticker that I got for a friend of mine, and I got the little pouch that I got for my sister-in-law, and it's already up in her room. Then, of course, I bought yarn. It's at a yarn store. I have to buy yarn, right? I got one of these ones. I love the colors, and like I said, I think this is one of those ones where you can do a different stitch when you come to this pop of color, so I'm hoping that is what this one is, and if not, I love the color anyway, so I was still going to get it. And this one is the Madeline Tosh. That was the name I couldn't think of earlier. 100% superwash merino wool, and it is Gigi Loves Dawn. MT and Barker wool. So that's what this one is. And then, of course, I got the Christmas one. Did you think I wouldn't get it? So this one is Earth Yarns, and it is a worsted weight, 100% superwash extra fine merino. And like I said, colorway is called Christmas, and it's beautiful. It's the traditional Christmas colors, and I like the traditional Christmas colors. I like your traditional Halloween autumn colors and your traditional Christmas colors. A lot of people are doing other stuff now, throwing in different colors, and it's this Christmas, it's this pastel Christmas, or this candy Christmas or something, and they're beautiful colorways, don't get me wrong, but I like those traditional autumnal colors and the traditional Christmas colors. It's just me. So now Jimmy Bean Wool does, if you've watched, again, if you watch Nitty Natty's video, you will have seen, because she talks about it. They do Madeline Tosh yarn that they dye for different states. They've been doing different states, and I know they're normally out of Nevada, but I said, hey, do you have the Nevada one? Nope, we're out of it. I said, okay, what about California? Because I'm from California. We'll go California. And she says, no, we don't have it. She said, I'm not sure if we've done it. I think they have, but anyway, didn't get California. And I said, now their yarns usually are very kind of, the ones I've noticed have been like more earthy, to do with that specific state, you know, these colors that you find in the state. They're just beautiful yarns. So I said, okay, give me Louisiana if you have it, because my husband was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So I was like, okay, we'll go for Louisiana. And I really expected lots of color. I either expected, you know, Mardi Gras colors, or because they're doing more of these colors that seem to be like the colors you find there, that you might have had a lot more greens and browns because of the swampy area and stuff like that, which would have been great with me. And she comes out with the Louisiana, and I was like, not what I expected, but I said Louisiana. I'm gonna stick with Louisiana. I don't know what, you know, state I would have tried next, and that was what I had wanted to do for my main skein of yarn from that store. So I got Louisiana. It's called Magnolias on My Mind, and this is their Louisiana yarn. I get the magnolias on my mind, and I do know they have lots of magnolias, and I can see the magnolia in this, but it was not what I expected for Louisiana. It is 100% superwash merino wool, and it is a worsted yarn, and all of their colorways for the different states also come with a little tiny stitch marker that says Knit Crazy and has the state. So it says Louisiana right there at the top. So that's my Louisiana yarn. And it's still a beautiful yarn. I'm not saying it's not beautiful, and I'm going to definitely do something with it. I'm not positive what I'm going to do with it yet. It just wasn't what I had expected. So I don't know, we'll see. Stay tuned to find out what I do with that. So that was Jimmy Bean wool, and then we went from there, and we drove through Carson City and over to Minden, Nevada. And I have a cousin that lives in Minden, so we went and we visited with her. And when I had done my pine needle basket last weekend, she had seen it when I posted it on Facebook. Come to find out, I didn't realize her mom, my aunt, made pine needle baskets. I'm like, maybe that's why it's in my head that I remember since I was a kid wanting to learn them. I don't know. But she did pine needle baskets, and my cousin had done some. So I went and I visited her, and while I was there, she showed me the different pine needle baskets she had that my aunt and her had made. She also had some of the baskets that were like what they had up in Donner. So that I thought was really kind of neat. And I'll stick some pictures in here of those baskets. So the stitching I thought was really interesting, the stitching that was on it. It was different from the basic stitching that I had done, and it had this, you know, extra little stitch to it. So before I left her place, she gave me what she still had left from when they used to do these baskets. So I got a big bunch of raffia, because that's what they used, and a big very long pine needles. And they're very old, but they should still soak and be able to be used. So I have those to play with, but the bonus was she also gave me the book that they used to use when they were making them, and this shows all those really neat stitches. Look at the stitching on that. So it shows how to do all these different kinds of things and these different kinds of bottoms. So that's like the here in the bottom. So this will be fun to play with. And so I got that from her. Can't wait to get the opportunity to try it and play around with it. And so then we ended up staying in Carson City that night. And the next day we drove up to Virginia City because it's got this great old town area and stuff, and we thought, oh, we'll go up here, we can walk around. It's something that I'm remembering in my head from many years ago when I went. And as we're driving up there, there's a lot of motorcycles from Street Vibrations, and we get up into the town and it's all you can do just to drive through the town. There are literally so many motorcycles lined up on the sides, people and everything. No joke. I looked at my husband, I said, this is like motorcycle Mardi Gras. I mean, when you saw the people down the roads and beads in hand, no joke, they had beads, black beads, orange beads, you know, not typical Mardi Gras color beads. And there was police officers all down the roads, all ready for it and everything. And I said, yeah, I think we'll drive through and be done. He's like, honey, are you afraid to get out? I said, no, I'm not afraid. I said, but there's just a lot of people and I don't feel like going through these crowds. So we drove through town, then we went up a road and came back the other way. But as we were going through town, I'm snapping pictures of the buildings, and we get stopped at one point and I'm noticing a couple bikers there, and the one guy, he's sitting there and he starts doing, you know, this type of thing. And I'm looking at my husband, I said, he's wanting me to take his picture. So I finally, and he kept waiting. And I turned, so I take his picture. And then as we pulled up, I had my window down, and him and his buddy both gave me beads. So I've got my first set of, because I've never actually been to Mardi Gras. So I've got my first set of beads, and it was kind of funny. And he's like, you got our picture, right? I said, yeah, I got your picture. So since he wanted his picture taken so bad, I'm thinking he wanted that picture shared. So here's the picture. But they were very nice, and it wasn't a real super rowdy scene. There was just a lot of people. So I ended up with beads in Virginia City. And then we went back down the hill and went back to Minden, Nevada. And there is a yarn store there called, hold on, what was the name of it? That was this one. Trying to remember what the name of it was. Knits and Knots. Knits and Knots is in Minden, Nevada, and it's a cute little shop. And we got there about 15 minutes before closing time, and they were stocking and very nice. They did not complain about me being in there as they were trying to stock and get things closed up. So I did a little film in there, and I will show you that one now. When you drive by on the main road, you just see this giant sign that says yarn, but then you pull back in and this is the shop, and this is their little mascot. She greeted me at the door. Her name is Sophia, and she was so sweet and so soft, and I was missing my babies a little bit, so I got some puppy loving. But they have a very cute little shop, and they had these little storyteller kits. Again, I told you I'd tell you about Storyteller. So they had these kits that were the sock bikes. Very pretty kits. Of course, I was knocking them down. So Storyteller is the yarn for this store. is the yarn that they dye. And here's some more of theirs, but they also have I'll go to it in a second. This was another one. This was a really nice one, yak, and it was very pretty and dreamy. Then these ones right here actually say knits and knots. So they had a couple of their like more luxury ones, yak and camel and stuff, that were knits and knots, but they were the only ones that were knits and knots. So when I asked her about it later, I found out that Storyteller is also their yarn. So over at Jimmy Bean Wool, they had Storyteller, which would have come from this shop. I love the tutus. They have the displays with all their mannequins have tutus at the bottom. But it's bright, it's colorful, and it catches your eye. Little gumball machine, and they have stitch markers instead of gumballs. And some fun stickers, of course. And like I said, they were stocking, let's see, I think two shops I went to were in the process of stocking yarns. One shop I went to was getting ready for Lambtown. They have a nice display though. I like the way they have everything up, and they have a little area. This was so pretty. This was really pretty, and the yarn right there was beautiful. It's Barocco yarn. And Delaque. Gotta have your Delaque stuff. Look at the little bird houses with the yarn hanging out of them. I thought that was really cute. So they have a little space back here where they can do knit nights and classes and stuff like that. And of course my husband found a seat. And again, I keep finding yarns that I have not seen before. So this was a very pretty tweedy yarn. This is one of those like chain plied ones. And I tried not to get them in the process of their stocking. They had stuff for spinners. And y'all know I like my stuff for spinning. So they had some different fleeces and things like that, and little wool genie. I haven't tried one of these yet. I keep thinking about it, but I haven't tried one. And your cocoa knit stand, those are really nice. And then up here, Hoskin Family Sheep and Wool. And I thought that was pretty awesome. It's a local wool. She comes in, she said, every Friday, I think, and brings her more stuff. So this was a mix of different sheep varieties. And they also had dryer balls. She makes dryer balls for them with her local wool. So there's dryer balls in the next other basket. Beautiful autumnal colors. I was drawn to them. So here's some more of their Storyteller yarns. They had a whole different collection of colors. They had very beautiful colorways. these were fun. I think I remember seeing them post this on their Instagram recently. And it's such a fun yarn. If I just knew what to actually do with it, I might have gotten one of those. They have a little sofa area there so people can sit and knit, crochet, do your fiber work. I probably did go through their shop a little bit fast, but like I said, I got there 15 minutes before closing and they were stocking, and I know they were trying to get things closed up. So, and like I said, I record, then I shop. So I was trying not to take up too much of their time while I was in there. And then as it was, one of the things I got, where's my bag? One of the things I got, she couldn't find the price and then had to contact the person to try and find the price. And I felt really bad, you know, that I was taking up so much of her time right at closing. But I did get a couple things. I picked up one of her storyteller yarns, and of course the beautiful green. And then after I picked it up, found out that this was the colorway they did for the yarn crawl. So this one is called Frosted Pine. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it is a DK weight. So this one might get used in with my green shawl. I'm not sure yet, but it is, I made sure it was the right weight that I could do that with it, or something else. So we'll see. But then I also picked up, can you guess what else I picked up? I picked up the local roving. It is, if you didn't read it on the screen, crossbreed Columbia, Corriedale, Rambouillet, Suffolk, Hampshire, Romney, Romneydale, Lincoln, Wesleydale, and Carrickle. So it says 3 ounces, and then it says sheep's name, lambs, and Milky Way. So I'm thinking some of them were lamb wool, and maybe they didn't have names or want to write all the names down, and then one of them was named Milky Way. And dark and delicious sheep and wool. So anyway, I picked that one up. So I will spin. I'm thinking I might use this when I'm at Lambtown to spin, because I generally will use, since we are selling spindles, I usually use some of the spindles that my husband's made, and I will spin while I'm there. So I'm thinking this will be what I'm going to take to Lambtown with me and spin. And then I also grabbed a stitch marker. Was planning to pay for it and then found out it was a free stitch marker, and she gave me a second one. So this was the one I picked up right here. Let's see if it'll focus. And then this was the one that she gave me. And on the back, this is Knits and Knots Minden. It was their ones from the yarn crawl. So this was this year's yarn crawl, I think, and this was last year's, or vice versa. I don't know. One was from this year, one was from last year. And I was like, oh, cool. So she gave me the 2 stitch markers. I didn't know when I was picking up that's what it was, because I was not going through there during the yarn crawl. They did have, all the stores still had some of the bags from the yarn crawl and things like that. But anyway, I picked those up and was going to, or I picked one of those up and was going to pay for it, and I got free stitch markers. Again, of course, very lovely people. Every store had very lovely people. So we went from Minden. back into Carson and then up and over to Tahoe. And beautiful, beautiful drive up through Tahoe, or up through the hills and into Tahoe. And then we came down into Tahoe, down into the south part, drove around, deciding where we were going to stay, because we had not planned any of this out. So we did not get rooms until, and then with street vibrations going on, we got lucky. We got rooms every night. So we ended up finding a room in Heavenly. So we actually turned around, went back to Heavenly, and went through some little shopping centers that were there and stuff. But the yarn store that was over there is actually in Heavenly, and like I said at the beginning of the video, it was closed, so I wasn't able to go to that one. But you know, we enjoyed ourselves, wandered around, got up in the morning and decided, okay, it's Sunday now, we need to start heading back towards home. He's got work to do, and we've got to get stuff ready for Lambtown. That's enough of our little joyride. So we start heading back towards home, going through Placerville and Sacramento. So in Placerville, there is a yarn shop. And I thought Placerville might be fun to wander through. And there's another yarn store. So we headed down and stopped at a waffle, not a Waffle House, but anyway, it was a waffle restaurant of some sort, and it was very good. And then went shopping and went to, that one is called Lofty Lou's. So we went to Lofty Lou's and then went through town a little bit. So here's our video from Lofty Lou's. So how do you feel about stopping at all these yarn stores when we're on our 25th anniversary vacation?
Oh, I love it. It's my favorite thing to do.
So Lofty Lou's is in Placerville, which also used to be known as Hangtown. And they are right on the main street in town. So they have a great location. Beautiful quilt in the window there. And their front window is all greens. I will show you from the inside, but it is all in greens. It's beautiful. So they were stocking also, so I try to avoid the area where they are stocking. But they have a nice, very nice little store. Delaque stuff, of course. There's the yarn crawl bags. And coming around this first side is their knitting needles and different tools, crochet hooks and things that you'd need. So excuse the boxes that are on the floor. Like I said, they are stocking. They have samples out in front of most all their yarns, which I thought was really nice. So you can see that yarn there, and then you can see how it works up. I always think that's really nice because some skeins look so different in the skein compared to caked up, compared to worked up. So each one of their cubbies has a different yarn, and then we'll have a piece hanging in front of it. There may not be a sample for every color, but the type of yarn. So like their tweed, you know, you've got a bunch of different tweed colors, but only one sample, but you have an idea of how that works out. This is the Queensland I've been coming across that one every now and then since I bought one up in Fort Bragg. Now I keep seeing the Queensland everywhere. Soft, floofy yarn. I think this might be the same one I had shown you at one of the other stores, but different colorway. And look at this absolutely adorable reindeer. It is so stinking cute. I really want to make that. I want to see if I can find the pattern because it is so cute sitting up there. Homestead tweed, that was another one I had not seen before. This yarn was so soft and so floofy. Well, it's called poof. And this colorway right here, you will see a sample, a sweater worked up in that in a minute or two. I do like the dream yarns too. Very colorful and soft. This was really a soft yarn, swishy soft, and soft. And a beautiful little piece that was worked up in it. It had a really nice soft feel. So, okay, well this area here, cotton, they had the cute baby things. They had Sardar. And Sardar is a UK-based company. I've done a number of their crochet alongs. They have a new one that is just starting right now, a gingerbread one. And they have these cute little itty-bitty skeins of cotton. But this store also has supplies for spinners and weavers. So you've got your brushes and nitty-knotties, pieces that you might need for your spinning wheels, pieces you might need for your looms and shuttles. And for their yarn crawl, they had a knit pattern and a crochet pattern like you normally do. They also had a woven pattern, I found out later, and this piece right here that I happen to be looking at was the pattern they had for weavers. It there's a blending board, and those are all threads for weaving. And then they have the dyes, so you can dye your own fleece and yarn. And then this was local. It says local alpaca, but the first one that I picked up was not. It was mohair, I think. Yeah, it was mohair. But then the yarns on the other side of the basket are the alpaca yarns. So this one is alpaca, and it was very nice alpaca. And they had it in 3 different colors. They had this kind of cream color, and then the brown and the black. And then we had a whole bunch of roving for those spinners, lots of different colors, and you had the blending board there so you could blend your own colorways. And then they also have the Angelina that you can add in and have your sparkle, so you could create some very colorful bats. And they also had some basic natural colors and the fiber from that specific one. So that one was, I think that said Gotland. Yeah, that one was Gotland, and there was Cheviot, and the New Zealand Ands, I'm not sure what that one is, Polworth, and Shetland, Yak and Silk, of course, luscious and soft, Swallowdale wool, Baby Camel, and Tussa Silk. I love that blend. BFL. Some were, of course, coarser, some were softer, depending on the different breeds. And there's actually camel top there that's not the baby camel, it's camel top. So it was a coarser one, because they are dual coated. There's some merino and Jacob's another popular wool. But then there were some that were blended, beautiful blends that have like your silk, and this one's silk and merino. And so there's a couple different colors of your merino in there, then blended with silk, and you could buy some of those different things and do that yourself. Some absolutely adorable felted kits and sock yarns and stuff. I had not seen sock yarn on a cone before, and I thought that was pretty neat. And it says on here that it's supposed to make 2 identical socks, so I'm thinking you probably work from like the toe up or something, then you get to the end of your colorway and start your second one. So I'm thinking it's layered on there. And here's some more little needle felted kits. The back of that quilt we saw when we first came in. This was their knit pattern from the yarn crawl, and that was their crocheted pattern, the bag. And of course, Emotional Sport Chickens, they had a crocheted one, they also had a knitted one. And here's that beautiful green window display I was telling you about. All different greens, I loved it. It was so cool, beautiful. Beautiful greens. And there's the knit chicken with his fluffy, spiky top knot. This bag right there was also done from the yarn crawl. And the original owner, I saw this and decided to film it for you guys. This was the original owner, and she passed away in 2016. So she was Lofty Lou. And they had a nice table area there where you could do classes or knit nights and stuff. This was fun skein. These are like specifically for a felted slipper. Of course, I was on the wrong side of the table to really get the best access to this, so I'm trying to reach through so I can show you guys this. But these are the little slippers that they make. So you work them up and then felt them. So then I went and asked about, these were pretty too. This was another sock yarn that specifically I think was supposed to make identical ones. But as always, I always go and I ask if they have a specific colorway or a yarn that's for their store or a local yarn. I like to find those different things out, and I tend to go for that if they have that. So I did go over and I asked about that, and the only one they had that was a local yarn specifically was Lisa Sousa, and it is a, look at the cute little stockings. Lisa Sousa is one that is done in Placerville, and I thought that name, it sounded familiar to me. And oh, there's that sweater I was telling you that was made with that big floofy yarn. Anyway, so the Lisa Sousa, I thought, oh, this sounds familiar to me. And it wasn't until I got home and I accidentally came across a label that was Lisa Sousa, I realized that it is the same company that I got the baby camel from that I had spun to make the little camel. So if you've watched my channel for a while, you will remember the camel that I crocheted out of the baby camel that I had spun, and it was Lisa Sousa. So that's why that had reminded me of that. And they did also have a colorway that they had made for their shop. So I will show you that here in a minute, but I know it's a very quick clip, so I thought I'd lead into it. They had it done because it's they've been in business for 30 years now, so that they had a colorway done for them to celebrate their 30 years in business. Look at the little lampshade they did. It's so cute. So this is the Lisa Sousa. I went back. I knew I'd seen it. This is the one that is out of Placerville. I was trying to find where it said Placerville to be able to show you, and it was underneath a lot of the stickers. So there you can see Placerville, Placerville, California. Oh, I found green. Such a pretty green. Pesto. Yeah, kind of pesto-y. And then this is the colorway. that they did for their store. So 30, flirty, and thriving. Very pretty. Blues, yellows, and greens in it. So that was Lofty Lou's in Placerville. And I wonder if you can tell from watching that, if you can guess what things I ended up getting there. Okay, so for my yarn, I did buy their colorway. And I sat there and I was like, 30, flirty, and thriving. Man, I wish that was me, 30, flirty, and thriving, but I'm going on 50 and I can't even think of a fun thing to go with that one. So, but very pretty colorway. This end is all kind of like San Diego, actually Los Angeles Chargers colors. I am a San Diego girl, so I do like the Chargers, even though they're in Los Angeles now. But then we get the greens, and so I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with this yet. It might have been their last one. She had to go searching to find it. It's 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon, and it is, well, it says sock, so it's going to be a fingering. But really pretty. So that was my yarn from the store, which, you know, leads into, yes, I got something else that was not yarn. But I did get green. Did you guess it? I picked up this so I can spin my own green yarn. And it is 4 ounces, and it is silk and merino, and it's called Avocado. And it's super pretty, and I thought the colors were great. So that will be a future spin. I don't know when exactly I'm going to do it, because I have a very large spinning project coming up. So we'll see. Maybe I'll bring it with me just in case while I'm at Lambtown. I don't know. We'll see. But I picked that one up. And then she gave me, I didn't even ask for it, she gave me their stitch marker, which was from the Yarn Crawl, Lofty Lou's, and she says, have you been getting your stitch markers? And I said, well, I got some over at Knits and Knots, and that was it. That's because that was the first place I really paid attention to it at, not knowing this was something. So I did get Yarn Crawl stitch markers from the last 2 stores I went to. And that was it. We left from there and headed home. We, trying to think, we made one stop on the way home at a gas station to get a drink, and got all the way home, and I expected to have a really big welcome from my dogs because they'd been missing me so bad. I mean, every time I talked to my son, and he was like, they're doing this and they're doing that. And the one kept howling because I wasn't home. So I was expecting this big welcome when I come in, and I quietly come in the door, and I have one right there watching me, but she's kind of like, okay, it's mom, you know? And my boys had both been downstairs and had just been talking, so there was motion going on, and the second dog slowly walks up to me like, wait, is that mom? And the third one's sitting there, and it takes her even longer to come to me. And the cat was in the other room just kind of standing there like she wasn't sure whether it really was me or not. And I was a little underwhelmed, and I was actually videoing so that because I was expecting this. I mean, just coming home from the store, they go nuts when I walk in the door. And I was really surprised that I had such a very quiet welcome when I got home. I expected more excitement than I got. So anyway, that was our 25th anniversary excursion, hitting up lots of yarn stores. I have an absolutely amazing husband that would let me go to all these yarn stores, and he was a trooper through it all. And I came home with lots of yarn, and he didn't complain one bit. We did start the day off. I didn't mention, we started that first day off with my dog, like cat with a hairball. But anyway, we started that first day off going to a woodworking store. So he bought a tool that should help him when he's making the support spindles, and it'll hold them better. He also bought some wood and stuff. So he was a happy camper with his new tools and wood. So I saw there was a store in Reno that was hardwoods and stuff. I said, "Do you want to go there?" And he's like, "No, we're good." So I did offer, but yeah, we went to lots of yarn stores. I mean, I guess all in all, it was what, 5 stores? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it was 5 stores. We went to 5 yarn stores, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And he supports my habit. I guess that's why I've 25 years stuck with him. He supports me, and I support him. So it was a very nice time, and I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Make sure and, as I said at the beginning, click like and subscribe. So if you haven't done that yet, do that now. Like, subscribe, all the YouTube-y things, notifications, share with your friends. I mean, all that really does help. It helps to support my habit. Well, eventually it will when my channel's big enough. Not quite big enough yet. But I have fun doing this. I enjoy sharing these things with you, so I hope that you enjoy seeing them. I have done some other videos similar to this. I did our yarn hop for Sonoma County. I did a few stores from the Bay Area yarn crawl. There is also a video I did last year on Lambtown, so if you would like to know a little bit more about Lambtown, I do have a video on that, and they will all be in the playlist that this one is in. My playlist is like In My Travels or something like that. So they will all be in that playlist, so make sure and check them out. And I may do something this weekend. I'm not sure. It just depends on how busy with Lambtown. I might even pop on Saturday morning instead of having a vlog and do a live from Lambtown. So I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Otherwise, I will see you next next Wednesday with the beginning of my next series that's going to be on wool prep and stuff. And then I will for sure be back the Friday after that with the next vlog, which means I should have lots of progress done on projects I'm working on. So we'll see you all again soon. Bye.